Welcome to another podcast, Drinkin with. Today we have a fun one. We have our buddy Wrestling with Whiskey, Matt Rehwoldt. Welcome. You've been on the show before, but thanks for joining us on a Drinkin with episode.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys very much for having me. How are you guys?
We're good. So I want to address something right off the bat because you've got a new show out that's great. It's Straight Shooting, which is, I love it because if you're a wrestling fan and a whiskey fan, it is like the most perfect, like interwoven double meaning. And you had on a friend of ours, Dylan Postel, on your second episode of this, and you get into some discussion about our friend the Griez, and you actually asked Dylan, you're like, okay, is the Griez, is it a shoot or is it a gimmick? And for those of you, a shoot is something real, like not within kind of the kayfabe or storyline world. And so basically the question to Swoggle was, is Griez the real deal? Or is this all a gimmick? Is it a character? And we've been saying for years that Griez is living the gimmick. And I think that's pretty much just where it is. It maybe started a little as a gimmick, but he's living it now. So it's a full-on shoot.
You lost where one begins and the other ends are starting to bleed together. I meant to ask this actually when I was on the show originally. My whole thing is I've been listening to you guys for a while. I love the show, and I was like, sometimes, and I love Griez, but I'm like, there's no way like he doesn't know what that word means or something like that, or like there's no way. And then I don't know, man. You live it and I love it, and it's a fascinating character study.
Fascinating is a way to put it. It's definitely a character study. Yes.
I know what fascinating means if anybody out there is wondering. Okay, so
all y'all can
GTH all y'all. Here's the deal. Okay, all right. Yes, pretty early on, it was funny because when I drink a little bit, I get more country. And my wife she always knows when I've had too much because I start talking like Habersham. And that's where I grew up. We called it by the county because the towns were just too small to even talk about. It was just the county. And I just channeled that during the show. Well, then later on, people were like, is it just me or is Griez like losing his accent a little bit as we go? And that was true. Because what Will and I have decided, or at least we talked through a little bit, is that Griez was strictly for the show. And then Matt was, day to day at work. Then the line started to get a little blurry. And then now there's not a single person at the office that calls me Matt anymore.
Except for like new hires will be introduced to you as Matt. And then there will be like a turning point. They'll be like, can I call you the Griez?
Yeah. It's like a week, Will.
Yeah.
It's a week.
Right.
And
you're going to end up like Hogan. You're just going to be like, just living.
Let's hope
in
not
this
fully. Yeah.
Pump the brakes, Matt.
Going with the Griez will be your A&E reality show, and your family's going to get on there. Then they're going to explode. You guys are all going to have drama. You're going to be on TMZ. It's going to be so much fun to watch, dude.
And then he'll have Griez's liquor shop, kind of like Hogan's Beach Shop.
Yeah.
And, you can go get a lot of just early times. It's mostly early times is what you can buy there.
Guys, I mean, sign me up. All that.
He's like, this doesn't sound like a bad thing.
I feel like I should call my mom right now and just tell her, like, Mama, my life's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so good. Oh, I'm gonna eventually have my own kind of sort of liquor store. And I'm just gonna sell bottom shelf. I'm gonna get a ton of allocated stuff, but it's never gonna hit the shelf. And I'm not doing any lotteries. I'm literally gonna sit by my pool, above ground pool, and drink it all.
Yeah. You're getting into the liquor business just to get the allocation for yourself. Right.
I feel like that's the only way to do it right now, Will.
Oh, for sure.
That's the only
You got to
right,
be a
Matt?
volume.
Oh yeah,
Volume.
absolutely.
I mean, you could score. I mean, if you flirt enough, you'll get a couple of bottles a year. But there's the times of a normal human having a chance of,
Sauntering.
the whole lineup of BTAC, that is just a joke. Maybe in 2012.
Right.
Maybe.
So Matt, what are you drinking tonight? You are on Drinking With. So
Yes. So yeah, I poured a little bit, a little self plug. I poured a little bit of our most recent new riff pick that
awesome.
we just did with our Wrestling with Whiskey Barrel Club. Love the stuff they're doing. And we also just did a Whiskey Mania pick, which will be just got bottled, and I'm picking that up in a couple weeks. And I do that one every year with my buddy Greg Hamilton, who is still a ring announcer for WWE SmackDown, and our friend Tony, who works for City Beat in Cincinnati. They kind of helped introduce me to the folks there, and so now I've been doing that yearly with them. And then this was our first one as kind of like doing my own like barrel club thing. And hot damn, I love what they're doing over there.
That's super cool. I like when you're like, it's just a Wrestling with Whiskey pick. No big deal. Like I'll just pull that out. But we know you are doing a lot of barrel picks, which is super cool. And one of our longtime listeners and one of our very close friends, Jason, he got to do the Knob Creek pick with you live.
Yes.
And so that was a super cool thing for like podcasters to watch and be like, whoa, Jason, you like hitting it big. And we're like, yeah, we want to do a barrel pick.
Shoot. I'll let you know. I'm trying to line up my next couple. We're going to,
Awesome.
my honest to goodness though, my big goal, what I wanted to do this with, because I thought about doing it last year and I wasn't sure how to, and then explosion of the world.
Mhm.
And but no, one of my things I want to do is as kind of an incentive or a little special treat as part of the group is to, when we can go back to in-person picks, I want to be able to invite people like you, maybe get Fred Minnick to join us, maybe get Baron Corbin, who's a big whiskey friend of mine, Greg Hamilton, guys, to be like, hey, they're going to come on the pick with us. And then, we're going to take 5-6 members of our group or whatever, and we'll go pick it in person like God intended it, and
Right.
and do kind of event style picks like that.
Dude,
So,
I'm just waiting for the go ahead from Distilleries to give me the go ahead to start French kissing barrels again.
Yeah,
whole
see,
life.
that's why
again?
I don't know.
Were you
Here's the
ever
thing.
given
I don't know
that?
if you know this. We're banned from most distilleries.
Well,
Can't even set foot on property.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I used to be able to do it. I wasn't allowed to, but I was able to do it. And then they made me wear a mask.
Just
And
mess
they
the
were
whole
pretty
thing
not they were pretty strict about it.
So, I mean, not to get this an explicit rating or anything on there, but I mean, if you're French kissing a barrel, where's your tongue going? Are you
Dude, there's pictures of me just
dry
humping a
you
barrel.
tried so hard, Matt, to get him to say bunghole. You did.
Oh,
I
there's
mean,
Grease did not
there's
take the
pictures
bait.
of me within striking distance of a bunghole. 4 of them, actually.
I believe it.
Yeah, because there's evidence of it. Do you believe that I caught a shark?
He didn't.
That's
did.
gimmick. That's a gimmick. That I know.
Well,
A
here's
brother
the
knows
question.
when I'm.
This is kind of a philosophical question. Do you consider it catching the shark if it never makes it in the boat? If you hook a shark, one thing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Catching
No.
a shark,
Catching, it's possessing, right? It's
Right.
Whatever. You can chase a bunny, you can do whatever, but you have to
Right.
possess
right?
the.
Hey, Siri, cancel my subscription to Wrestling with Whiskey.
I don't think Siri has that ability. You can't just do that through Siri.
Oh, she just said, I'm sorry. I guess she knew that I signed a contract with that. She's like, sorry, bro. You're locked into that.
Well, you got to come up with your own. So catching the shark has got to be like your own jumping the shark. It's got to become, it's like a metaphor for something.
Okay.
Yeah, not doing something you said you did. That's
Okay,
what it is. It's a metaphor.
Exactly.
I was not going to get hammered tonight, but
You're definitely not getting hammerhead because you did not catch said shark. Yeah.
Is this? I've been listening. I haven't been able to watch. Is this the infamous decanter you've been drinking out of?
It is.
That I've heard on the audio versions.
I have only drunk out of this, when we did our Eagle Rare Neat thing, because Will was like, Eagle Rare is going to get pissed at you if you just drink their stuff out of a decanter.
Yeah, it's true.
And I was like, well, everybody else in this world is going to get pissed if I don't drink out of this. I went to bed upset. I had to take a Tums. Like my wife was just like,
it's just because you have bad acid reflux. That has nothing to do with the show.
Well, no, I have to take those when I get upset. I take Nexium when I have acid reflux.
Oh, that's fair.
Tums don't touch that stuff, dude. I have basically a daggum, like a force field of glory right here. Just a bunch of villagers, okay, with flaming torches that are about to go freaking just like Vikings going to ruin a village.
Matt's face right now is perfect of trying to figure out what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? There's daggum they're Vikings right here with
it's heartburn. He's trying to say that's how bad his heartburn is.
And they're going to the village down here in the daggum stomach, and that stomach, dude, they've got a shit ton of archers down there with arrows. Ooh. Just lit, ready to fire back. And let me go ahead and tell you, it's a daggum battle. It's basically like drinking Fireball, chasing it with a Jaeger bomb. You ever done that?
Good God. Why would I want to punish myself that much?
Why would you not?
Oh, Fireball on its own is horrible. Jaeger is the most sinful, like downright awful thing I think I've ever consumed.
Okay, Matt. Aiden. Third rope, leaping across the daggum whatever it is. I don't even know how many feet it is, but you could jump, you could leap. I don't know what it is. Slingshot, jumped, whatever. DDT, half gainer in the air, and you're worried about a daggum Jaeger bomb following a daggum Fireball shot?
Oh my God. Throw me off the top of the cell, throw me off the roof, put me through 16 tables of thumbtacks before you give me one shot of Jaeger. Yes, absolutely. The last time I had Jaeger was when I was in Tampa. FCW like just signed to the company, and the boys would go out, and somebody, Brodus Clay, we were at this bar that the boys were at. Like, we didn't know that some of them were there off the road. We were a bunch of trainees. We were FCW developmental guys, and we came into the same bar. I believe it was the Green Iguana in Tampa, if that's the one.
I'm going there. I know where that is.
On West Shore. On West Shore Boulevard.
They have like crazy drink specials, tons of just, I don't think they were legal enough to drink in there.
Yes.
That 100%. Kind of establishment.
Yeah. So that was the last time I had Jaeger.
Your drink was green.
That sounds about that. The kind of place this was, that sounds exactly right.
Right. I need another shot.
This is going to end well. So I do want to talk about
killing it with Griez.
Straight shooting. That I love the concept that you're doing, because you're bringing on other wrestlers, and y'all are telling stories from the road. You're talking about the business and all of this, but then you're introducing them to whiskey through blind samples.
Yes.
And you had Matt Cardona on the first one, also known as Zack Ryder. And then you had Swoggle in number 2. And it's super fun to see you go through these whiskey samples with them and get their take. And also, it's like, thus far, I love how they'll both be like, I mean, I'm not like huge into it, but I can drink it. And then their first reaction always is just like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's super fun to get that like raw reaction as they're going through it, but also telling stories and having a good time. It feels very real, and I love that.
Oh yeah, I mean it helps. I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect when I had Broski on. I call Cardona. I just call him Broski. That's the all-consuming name for him. He's like the Griez, but he's just the Broski.
Right.
And no, I wasn't sure, because I knew for sure he wasn't a whiskey fan.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how much. Like, I know he would drink cocktails and stuff sometimes. So I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And the more I've kind of come across it, I'm like, those are going to be the better episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the non-whiskey fans, just introducing. I know it's going to be hard for them to drink in general and stuff like that. They're not going to like all of a sudden go, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever had. But it is fun. And I think I say this in that one or in Dylan's episode. It's kind of, and I equated it to like, sometimes when you show a non-wrestling fan a wrestling match,
mm-hmm.
they'll point out some things that the people who are kind of in that bubble are like, oh shoot, I never think about that, because I'm looking at the gainers and then the things jumping off the ropes and the moves, and I'm thinking about, all
Right,
this
like the
stuff that I
tension on
know.
that bottom rope is a little loose.
Yeah.
No, I love that, and that's I
Kind
love
of
that
like
analogy too.
Matt Rehwoldt's muscle structure in his arms.
You want to compare? Is this going down?
Oh, shirts are coming off.
Wow. Is this happening?
Oh my gosh. Mine's staying on. I'm just gonna. Oh wow.
Yeah. Take that, you. How about that?
I can't. I'm not
Lower
doing
the
that.
camera.
You're gonna have to tilt down, Grease.
I'm not doing
Tilt
it.
down.
It's not watermelon season yet. It's close, but it's not watermelon season.
Wow.
I'm not even one drink in.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I'm
where
not
I
even-
thought this night was gonna go.
Where do
but-
we go from here?
I'm
We
about-
I
just
don't
blew her.
know.
We just did the go home in the first 3 minutes of the match.
Yeah. So, folks, that's it. That was the main event. I hope you all
Done.
were watching. Go check out Straight Shooting over at Wrestling with Whiskey on YouTube because we've got nothing better than that. So,
Cheers
at least
to that.
nothing that we can put on YouTube.
I'm sending more archers down the hatch.
Question
More
for
archery.
you, Matt.
Now you're encouraging him with that line of talk.
Question for you, Matt. I haven't seen the Horn Swoggle WWE. They're coming for me. I hadn't seen the Swoggle episode yet, and I need to remedy that. But did he drink vodka the whole time?
No,
No,
he just drank the whiskey I gave him. But so the funniest part was
Did he black out?
no, because it's like an ounce each. It's very simple. That's actually, and I'll get into that in a minute. But no. So Swoggle.
Conway says we need sun. Oh, I live in Texas.
All right, keep your skin cancer. I'll be good.
I know. I moisturize and I essential oil.
You damn right. But so Swoggle goes. I'm like, all right, let's have sample number one. And I see him, and he unscrews the top, and he goes. I go, whoa. I'm like, are you? And I send him in plastic sample bottles because they're much lighter, easier to send. But I go, whoa. I'm like, are you just gonna drink? Do you have a cup or a glass? He goes, why do I need a glass?
It's so great.
Dude,
and then I don't know if he
so
told you
on
guys,
brand.
but like, cause he's like, you know what? And he gave one of his hot takes, and it was all about like people talking about all this stuff, drinking different kind of ways, and he had all these glasses. He goes, I'm telling you, he goes, when people come over to my house, when I entertain guests and they want like bring a bottle of wine, and they ask 5 wine glasses, he goes, yeah. See the purple, red, pink plastic cups above the fridge?
So funny.
That's what you can have. He goes, I don't have any of this stuff. So he drank right from the sample bottles.
And then he screwed it back on. It had like almost
little
like
pop top. Yeah.
like a pop top. And then he was convinced that he was aerating it and
He
that
was
it
squirting it.
He's like, oh, I'm getting a little bit of air bubble in there. It's so much better this way. It's really mellowing it out. And it was classic Dylan for sure. And he also shared his hot take that he had when he was on our show that he saw us drinking it from the bottle. And he goes, you drink that warm?
Oh yeah, couldn't
Like,
believe
blew
it.
his mind.
Couldn't believe it. No,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't get it. He basically to everything like that people like us and everybody like he's just like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I get that. It is hard. Like if you're not used to it and you drink whiskey, you're like, holy crap, how can you people be so goofy about this stuff, so gaga about this stuff? And I'm like, it's like with anything, it's a niche, it's its own little thing. Like that was one of the things I loved about whiskey is that like there were beyond the booze. Ooh, trademark. That's a verbal trademark. Beyond the booze.
Yeah.
It's just that like comic books, like sci-fi conventions, like
even especially wrestling. Like,
yes.
I feel like wrestlers should understand whiskey culture more than anyone because it's like it's like it is definitely a subculture, a niche, even though wrestling fans is a much bigger subculture than whiskey, I would argue. But it's in different ways. But the fact that it's like we can get so into it and look at the intricacies, it's like that's exactly what I mean. whiskey YouTube are essentially dirt sheets, right? Like, I mean, that's the equivalency is here. We're going to sit here and talk and pontificate for hours about one single bottle, or blind taste each other, or do something, try to do comparative things. Like, that reminds me a lot of things I see within the whiskey and wrestling culture. They have these parallels. So that's why I think what you're doing is so cool, because it has an opportunity to pull from two different audiences that are like, well, I never thought of it that way, and can
it's
maybe get interested
genius
into it.
for Matt, because
Right.
I mean, he's got, a bajillion fans on the wrestling side, and and on the whiskey side, it's kind of a brand new avenue for him. And so, like, you're able to bridge that gap. I think it's freaking great. Real quick question. Which one's the baby face and which one's the heel?
Ooh.
Well, that's not the that's not that rye. Is that the single barrel rye?
It is.
That is.
Well, I did barrel proof rye. I kept it in the same, ish family.
So, I mean, all right, I'm trying to think of the best way to tell this in a good storytelling standpoint. So, like, we're not going to go by like, oh, what tastes better and stuff like that. We're going to tell a story here. So, Thomas Handy Rye, BTAC Rye, the king of one of the kings of limited ryes, them and Saz, tag team champions for limited ryes and everything like that, right?
Ooh,
Established.
I like where you're going.
Established.
I'm already turned on.
Old school, top of the pile. And then this Jack Daniels single barrel rye, new star out of the gate, right? This last year, right? Is kind of when it hit everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the first.
Well, there was
first
a Tennessee Tasters,
right,
2 years ago for a little bit.
And so that's to me, old, powerful, well-established heel champion, young babyface upstart, making a lot of waves, looking to challenge the established heel. That's
you have that little twist of it, because it's almost like Jack Daniels still comes from a dynasty, though. Like, maybe it's a new family member that's being introduced. That could be the angle as well, because it's still Jack Daniels.
Yes.
You can't take that away from.
What's his name? $1 Million Man.
DiBiase. Yeah, no, see, you could flip it on its head. Handy, old school rye. He's always held that rye up top. Jack Daniels, known for Tennessee whiskey for hundreds of years, and now they're like, screw it, we're kicking in the rye category. We're going to take over your whole family. Ooh, everything's a story. It's just how you tell it.
Right.
That's right.
I feel like at some point tonight, Matt and I should cut promos.
Oh,
if you want to be embarrassed, that's fine.
Yeah, I'd like to see a promo off that. I mean, so
I could barely explain my esophagus issues. Okay,
right.
So
yeah, this is fair.
Matt's just gonna turn it on, and he's gonna make me feel like I'm a daggum ant in a playground with a bunch of lawnmowers.
You know what? This is gonna be a weird one. No, but here's the thing. With I'm gonna call back to your explanation of your heartburn that took 12 minutes. But it might have been more than you needed to say, but it was an entertaining journey. And an entertaining journey goes a long way, especially in something like wrestling or entertainment. You were like, I hope this doesn't come off inappropriate to anyone, but you were like the Enzo Amore of whiskey. You take, hella entertaining. Sometimes you may take 600 words to when 10 would do. And I love him, but Enzo would be that guy who was like, I'm going to string together all these things to make my one point. And it was a lot, but it was very entertaining.
He could cut a promo.
He could riff and raff and jib and jab with anybody when it came to that kind of stuff.
So you're saying I'm good at promos?
I'm saying you have potential, kid.
Hey, dude, I'll take that. And I appreciate you calling me kid, because sometimes I don't feel like it.
No, amen.
I did a couple of squats the other day, and it still hurts.
You did like a calisthenic.
My
I think
hamstring.
you did that.
Don't do squats. I stopped doing squats.
Y'all, did y'all know that it's called bacon grease and not baking grease?
Yeah, because you usually don't bake in a skillet.
Well,
usually
my entire life
is grease from bacon.
Yeah, bacon makes grease.
The food and then the fat byproduct. It is
my entire life. I thought there was a grease made for baking. And I thought it was it's bacon grease. I thought
this is gimmick.
Grease.
This is a gimmick. This is not real.
I wish it were a gimmick, Matt.
No way.
I wish it were.
I was upstairs.
Way.
We made breakfast for dinner tonight, and I looked at my wife and I was like, "Babe, is it bacon grease instead of baking grease?" And she's like, "What are you talking?" She was immediately pissed.
You know, like the face palm emoji.
Yes.
His wife designed that. Someone saw her go like that, and they said, "Do you mind? It like you're not going to get a cut of this money, but we're going to use that." That inspired us so much that
is there money? Is there money in emojis?
No,
2 seconds. And I'm going to prove my point. I worked in the restaurant industry back in the day. I was a server. And they would cook bacon on this big old grill, and then they would scrape it into the tray, and then it would go down to the grease tray and be done.
Grease trap.
Baking.
It's called a
when
grease trap.
When they were baking bread or anything in the oven, they would get this stuff out and like grease the pan before they put it in the oven.
Hey,
that's bacon grease.
Our friend Cody has a really good point. He said, "How TF did you grow up in Georgia and not know that it was bacon grease?"
It's a fair point.
I mean, that's like it's a part of the food pyramid in Georgia.
I've already told you the reason why I've always thought that. I've already told you.
Right.
And it's valid.
I could understand Chester drawers, things like that, where you're like, "Oh, I've just always heard it that way." It's like, no, it's bacon. It's a part of your staple diet in
the dictionary just acknowledged that supposedly is the word.
But not Merriam-Webster, and that's the only dictionary I read.
Is there another dictionary?
Well,
you're the only dadgum person that knows the Webster dictionary's first name. That's
Merriam-Webster's dictionary. First of all, it's not a first name; it's a hyphen. But second of all, there's the Oxford English Dictionary. There's dictionary.com are the jokers who
the Webster's dictionary
supposedly in there. And I don't trust a .com era boom of dictionaries. Those crashed a long time ago. So
yeah.
I haven't even said what I'm drinking tonight because Griez got into his heartburn thing.
What are you drinking?
I've drank 4 different things.
I have a fresh crack of this is an Old Forester single barrel proof. And it is trying to focus on it instead of my face.
Show that up. You got
a cool sticker. It says everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
No. Put the bottle in front of your face. In front of your face. No. Oh my gosh, Will. All you got to do
There you go. Yep. It's got to be the center. There you go. Oh, that's sweet.
Cover up your eyes.
Where's that from?
This is from Bankhead Beverage
somewhere
in Georgia.
Bankhead?
That's what it says on the label.
It's called Buckhead.
No, it's not Buckhead. It's Bankhead.
Well, it's called Buckhead.
Well, no, there is a Bankhead somewhere that this is from, and then there's Buckhead.
Nope.
Okay. Get out. Get out.
All right. That was that.
Yeah, man, we're setting records left and right.
Matt, tell us how you earn your bourbon, because I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I purchased a tonal system, TONAL.
Oh,
have you seen the commercials online?
Yes, I have.
He spent $13,000 for a pulley system.
It's not 13. It's like it's less than half of that.
It's right at half of that.
It's less than half of that. Anyway, it's going on my wall right over here. Y'all can't see it. Y'all are going to see it though, because if you go to bourbonfit.com, it takes you to my Facebook page, because I'm going to blast that crap out.
Just you got to make a little thing. Whatever your setup is right now, you just make it rotational, and then boom, the other side is Griez working out. That's your other side hustle. You can. Well,
I'm actually just going to mount a camera on the ceiling, and I'm going to lay down on the bench and just look up.
That's a TikTok channel waiting to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Griez, just hit record and put those up on YouTube, and let's monetize the heck out of that.
I can't wait to get the tank tops and stuff.
Look,
just go all
in certain Griez, you're a bear. In certain communities, you would be very appreciated.
Wait.
Well, we
might have two different. We might have two different definitions
I
of a bear.
I think y'all are on the same page on this
know.
one.
Yep, 110%. Trust me, as someone who has fans in all kinds, and I've come to kind of learn the different segments of fandom and everything like that.
Right.
I can tell you almost to a guarantee, you could develop a nice fan base.
Right.
Patreon.com/the podcast for more Grease Bear videos.
We're gonna
that's a separate tier.
There's a video up of me trying to mount a unicorn float.
I did see.
I guarantee you that'll set some bear lovers on fire.
I did see a meme the other day that said podcasts are only fans for men or something like that. Like, I'm like, I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I'll tell you when you're older.
Okay. I appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things to tell me when I'm older.
Yeah, you never, and I mean like maturity age too, and you never get there. You never quite get to where we're going.
Will claims that we have a mailbox for the podcast, and he claims that he gave me a key for that, and I don't think he did.
Well, you're paying the deposit when they ask for the 2 keys back. So he goes, today he went to go pick up some mail, and he goes, I have never seen this key before in my life. And I was just like, I got 2 and I gave you one of them, and the other is on my keychain like a responsible adult. So
I'm going to assume some stranger out there has a key to your PO box, and
good chance. Good chance.
Look at our
Grease
buddy.
May have let someone borrow it. Like, hey, if you need to send some mail here, man,
dude,
you got it.
There's 3 Matts right now.
There are.
You, Matt Porter, and Matt Porter. You need to throw up Drinking with Whiskey's Patreon too. In a second, I'll throw it up there.
The great thing about, and you said drinking with whiskey, you mean wrestling with whiskey, you dumb.
I mean, we're all collectively drinking.
Hang on.
Whiskey.
Right.
Hang on. Wait.
What are you trying to say?
He'll get
somebody's
there.
channel. Somebody's channel is that, right?
Drinking with whiskey?
Yeah.
Maybe not. The show we're doing is drinking with.
No, we have. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's our brand. That's great.
So last time we did a live, John Colvin said I should be nicer to you, and I just never have the reason to be.
That was an email. He actually emailed me that.
But I do want to say that speaking of, there were some of you were just talking about. Oh, Matt Porter, World's Top Whiskey Taster. Mm-hmm. We also have Top 5 World's Top Whiskey Taster.
Oh, heck yeah.
On the show right now. And so that was
Matt really good, Porter.
How pissed were you? Seriously.
Was he faking it, and were you super pissed about it?
Oh yeah.
I bet you're super pissed.
Because he faked me.
Oh, I saw him sidling up to Peggy No and Steve Nally. I saw him. So I think I might even Matt. I think I even saw him slip what looked like $100 bill underneath like a coaster.
Well, it was a religious track, or whatever. It was one of those, like, you know, you should tie this on.
I think it was a gospel tract. Actually, it opened it up.
Right.
Yes, fakes you out. It looks like $100. You open it up, huh?
Yeah,
tract with the T at the end.
Yeah,
it's not a track.
No. Look it up on dictionary.com.
Two different things.
Yeah, Webster's. All right.
Anyhow, moving on. He paid him off with some scripture verses, but
yeah.
Oh man, I've done that.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do to get ahead.
That's right. It's a cutthroat world out there.
That's right.
What was that like though? What was that whole thing like? The whole World Top.
Yeah, because we didn't really. I mean, we dove into the process slightly with Matt, but we were our drinking with was, you know, it. We didn't get to that as quickly as we should have.
To say, I learned after that I need to start measuring my pours.
Yes.
Yes. So
okay,
because we did go on to his show right after that for another 2 hours, and then we turned it off, and then we drank. Because, you know, on StreamYard, like, you could just still be in a conference together. Right. We drank for another 2 hours.
Another 2.
We drank for 5 hours
straight.
It was
straight.
Yeah, right.
It
Straight
was all
shooting.
straight. Porter poured like a quarter of his Kentucky Al bourbon on the floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was just one of those.
So that before I get into the world title, that actually reminds me of a fantastic story about a local Chicago. Did I tell this on the last time? I hope not. If it sounds familiar, stop me. But speaking of pouring whiskey on the floor that you shouldn't pour on the floor, there's a whiskey fan here in Chicago, a friend of mine we met through a local store, who real cool guy. He's from Indiana, but he has like huge bourbon guys in all the groups. Has like a side business literally just for bourbon money. Like he has a job and then he has like a fishing business on the side that literally that's where his bourbon money comes from. And it's very successful fishing business.
So he's a very successful bourbon collector is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I was with this guy when he bought a Michter's Celebration just so he could negotiate with the owner on other stuff he had. Like, it was like, okay, thank you for this giant red box. Anyway, I want your Pappy 15 from
Meanwhile,
2010.
right.
Yeah, I want this, I want that from 2000. I know you have a Dusty this, I want that. Like, it was his gateway. He spent 5 G's just to get to other bottles.
Smart though.
So this individual is a big fan of Booker's 30th, right? Loved it when it came out. Huge fan, like immediately had tracked down like 5-6 bottles type of guy. And one day, again, he's from Indiana, but he came here to Chicago. He's got a lot of friends here. Went to a Benny's Beverage, which is like kind of like Chicago's Total Wine, big box store. And he went to a store. He was getting ready for a picnic, buying a bunch of beer, wine, ice, soda, all this stuff. Big old run. And I think he asked one of the employees or something like if they had any Booker's 30th. He loved it. He was buying all this stuff. If there's any way if they had one, he could buy it. He would love it. And this person, I don't know whether they knew or whatever, went in the back, said, yeah, we've got one, sold it to him. And there was a manager there who saw this going down at the cash register and said, whoa, like, you selling that to him? Like, those are for people on a list, blah, 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 something like that. And he's like, really? You're doing this to me right now at the cash register? He's like, well, I'm sorry. I don't know, and he gave him the old, I don't know if you're going to take that and flip that. That's why we have certain kind of lists and all this stuff like that. He's like, I just bought like $500-$600 worth of like wine and beer and all this stuff. He goes, you're going to accuse me? He goes, hey, I'm trying to do this. He literally he goes, you don't think I'm going to drink this? He goes, you don't think I'm going to drink it? Unpeels the wax, pops it up, pours it on the manager's shoes, I don't remember the story of either half the bottle or the entire bottle of Booker's 30th on the manager's shoes. I said, there, that should show you that I'm not here to flip bottles for you. But he goes, but I'll just never shop here again. Thank you very much. And took the rest of his purchase and walked out. Got banned from Benny's and walked out.
Oh my gosh. I love that though. That is one way to show you mean business.
Okay, he could have done this. He could have done the same thing if he would have just turned it up into his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the kind of like message he wanted to say. He could have. You're right. But he wanted to make it extra, put a little stank on it, and literally just put it right on the floor, right on his shoes. I don't know. The guy's a cowboy in the Midwest whiskey scene.
So that guy is what Griez could only hope to be.
Yeah, he needs to come to Whiskey Weekend.
Oh my God!
Wealthy and ballsy. That's all I want to be.
Yeah,
I'm trying. I'm daggum trying.
The problem is when you have 2 lofty goals, Griez. It's tough to attain both things.
Fair.
Time management.
That's why I'm just trying to do as many scratch offs as I possibly can.
You'll get there. I believe in you.
Those $30 jumbo bucks are calling us, Will.
Yeah.
Soon.
So Matt Porter did say, he said, Matt is right. I got a tiny bit of special treatment. They actually gave me and my wrestling friends a private tour that weekend. Apparently they thought I was Yokozuna. So, I mean, if you get special treatment one way or the other, who is he to correct them? Right.
So no, it's funny, Matt, you bring up a fantastic point. Something that I harp on that to be fair, I didn't want, but is kind of a funny story. So I'll grease through it real quick. And the competition was really cool. If you guys there was like you submitted a video and then you were part of a regional, one of like the 10 regions that Bar Sounds distributed in. Some of them were like 10 people in the regional. Some like Chicago and Wisconsin were like 3. We had a really small one. And then you did a Zoom blind tasting thing, and they just scored you by points over like 3 rounds, and then the finalists made it from each of the 10 regions. Went down there, true to what they said. I mean, expenses, they paid your flight, they paid for your hotel, they transferred that Pegasus was doing transport back and forth. Nice little reception the night before the competition, with everybody, great cocktails. The food, again, if you haven't been there, the food is ridiculous. That restaurant is so good.
Bottle and bond, yeah,
dude. It's everything. Anyway,
you get the charcuterie.
They went beyond charcuterie. They were doing like these like medium rare like sirloin steak skewers, and like you're gonna slap me upside my head. There was a really great. I know it was like a classic Southern dish that they did. I can't remember, but it was like done up like really well. It was like
meatloaf.
No. I don't know if Matt Porter can remember it, but
Southern dish.
It is. But I love the Griez.
First of all, Griez
green bean casserole.
His favorite thing to throw out is 1 charcuterie, and then 2 classic Southern dish. It's got to be meatloaf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Poutine is what Matt Porter said, which poutine is a Canadian dish. So
that was really good. That was really good poutine, but I swear to God, there was something else. Doesn't matter. It was really good. But no, then the next day, we started in the morning, and the first half of the day was all about like, they gave you like a full kind of tour of everything. They gave you the deep down inside tour. We did, tasting from the Rick House, saw Pete's Place, the new tasting room there. Got to tour. Steve Nally took us on a tour of all the distillation stuff and everything, that whole side of everything. And it was just really cool. And then after lunch is kind of when the competition started. Did a tasting and nosing competition where this was probably the most interesting one of the day, because they gave you 3 examples of faults in whiskey, right? A chemical, like they just literally put like chemical, and it was like acetone,
like Tide Pods.
Like it smelled like Tide Pods, but it was like chemical compounds that was like, ooh, that is like astringent. Oh, that is like musty almost, right? With things,
Castorium.
No, not the bunghole, not the beaver bunghole, not the beaver. But I know all about Castorium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. By the way,
I've got knee deep in a beer.
By the way, modern day wrestlers, baby oil, no more baby oil. Castorium.
Really?
No.
I was gonna say, really?
That would be expensive baby oil.
Yeah, and also you'd smell like a lovely vanilla and cherry aroma.
You would smell really damn good. But
cut me off.
No, yeah, idiot. And so you got like 2 or 3 minutes to smell basically each one of these chemicals, and one of them I think was like fruity compounds, which wasn't so much a fault, but like a flavoring compound. So you're just kind of getting to know these for a minute, and then they took them away. And then they put three blind samples in front of you, each which had one of those in it. And you had to figure out which one had which one in it. And so you're like, oh, shoot, does this one have the acetone? Does this one have the musty thing in it? Does this one have the fruit additive to it? And it was really like that was – I love nosing and everything. It was super intense and everything, but it was fascinating to have the chemical compound in front of you and then have it added to a whiskey and try to identify it. It was really very, very interesting. Then we did some blending with Steve Nally. We did some food pairing with Peggy No, and then we did a straight up blind, a 1 sample blind. Try to identify as much as you can. Make, proof, mash bill, all this stuff as much as you can. Whoever got the closest got the most points. So that was the laydown of the competition. Matt did very, very well. Obviously, I finished 3rd. I was super proud of that. I didn't even expect to make it into this competition. But Matt's joke about having your wrestling friends getting a private tour, one of the weirdest things that happened that weekend is so the Chicago, Illinois manager for Bardstown is a guy named Ed. I became friends with him. It's kind of how he introduced me to the competition. We have a great relationship. He helps me get products for review and stuff like that. Super awesome guy. He's a big wrestling fan. He's in the wrestling community. His family ran bars and stuff where all the wrestlers would come. He's got a lot of ties to that industry. And so both through his own doings and through me, like he kind of hooked up with Baron Corbin and like Greg Hamilton, and he knows like Chuck Taylor and AEW and stuff. So he sometimes sends samples and bottles and stuff to those guys. So unbeknownst to me, he invited Baron Corbin down for the world's top whiskey taster weekend, or like for the day of the competition. He's like, hey, come on down. And so he told me that like a couple days before. And so he shows up and he gets lunch with Mark Irwin and stuff. So I figured he was just going to kind of hang out at like, at the restaurant and stuff like that while we did all our stuff. Well, unbeknownst to me, like, as we start doing the competition, going from like event to event, like Ed and Baron Corbin are just like following us around. Like moms, like parents at soccer weekend, like taking videos of me, like carrying a glass of whiskey, like as we walk to the Rick house. Mind you, nobody else has like friends or family there with them. Nobody else has people who are allowed to go with them on the tour.
But you've got an entourage.
But yeah, so I felt like such an asshole. Because here I am. I'm like, I know I come from this wrestling world. So I'm like, and my friends, all these people are there, like they're like bartenders, mixologists, people who've been in like doing this for like years, and like this is a big thing to them. And here I am, this wrestler douchebag with his buddies coming in, like filming him, like, hey dude, what are you doing now? And like, again, nobody else has friends or family there. And like event to event to event. And I love them and they're my friends, but I was like, this is gonna make me look so bad. This is gonna make me look like such a jerk. And it was so awkward and funny. And yeah, I felt like a little kid at a soccer game. Was like, Mom, like stop filming me. I'm trying to blend with Steve Nelly. Stop it.
I'm in a competition.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that event, Dan and Julie Like, who, by the way, sent me a bottle of Obtanium today. And when I say they sent me a bottle of Obtanium, they sent me
I
about
appreciate
40
you, Dan and
pound.
Julie.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Dude, it's for you too.
Was it addressed to Will and Greeze or just Grease? Because I never see things to get addressed to Grease. Let's be really honest.
I'm not commenting. I rarely see things addressed to you. Okay, so fair game. Here's the deal.
Not accurate.
There was about 40 pounds of tape on this box with about 30 pounds of peanuts, and then more tape, and then more bubble wrap, and then there was this bottle. I appreciate the bottle, and I appreciate the packing supplies that I can literally use for the next year. That's fabulous. I appreciate it. Also, Jason Newman.
Yeah, put that super chat up from our buddy Jason.
By the way, Jason, thank you for the super chat.
Absolutely.
Super generous. We love you. Thank you for supporting the channel. This is awkward because
I can't wait to see how this pans out, because this could lead to our shoot off.
Yeah, because we gave you a bottle of Ain't Half Bad, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, when you were here in the room I'm sitting in right now.
Yes,
I have this chair. No one's allowed to sit in the chair that's literally right here, because that's where Matt sat. It's off limits. That is a
it's a
holy space. Yeah,
it's a shrine.
Yeah. We actually took.
You need to raise your level for what a shrine is.
It's not a shrine, but we did take Sharpie and outlined your indention in the chair just so that we could pretend like we
That's the one,
dude.
Y'all,
that is a solid butt, dude.
Let's not do what we did earlier.
I just saw curves, and I just saw there's zero curves over here, buddy. Okay,
it's all right.
I said it. I think I said it last week. I have a back with a hole in it. Very impressive, sir.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm hoping that tonal helps a little bit. That would be awesome.
Jason asked.
I'll give you some stuff.
He said putting Matt on the spot, which is better, the Knob Creek we picked, which we meaning the Wrestling with Whiskey folks.
Yep.
Including Jason, or the Ain't Half Bad.
So it's interesting because when we did that pick, and I believe Will, you were in the chat for at least some of that.
Yeah.
So like the one that won for us was one that like I could could describe as I take a Griez term, it was super crushable. For like the barrel proof pick, it was like at like 121 something, so just over the 120. And they were all good, but like this, it was just one of those. It was dangerous. You know what I mean? I wish I wish I could do a really quick side by side. I finished our sample from that one, but I mean, I may as well get. It's been a hot second since I've had Ain't Half Bad.
I'm just glad we got to see that butt again, kind of right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that chair looks super comfortable.
It does. Well, I mean, you got to have a comfortable chair when you got a big butt like that.
Big butt, oh yeah, and then doing.
People are gonna just be like unsubscribe. This is garbage.
We just lost our enchantment.
Oh,
they talked about bears and
if you lose people because of that, then they're people that you need to lose.
Well, either lose people, but we may gain an entirely new audience.
Yeah,
so,
damn right.
A bunch of bear lovers coming up in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have another glass. So I know I am vehemently against bottle chugs.
That's fair.
I don't
I'm
like
with
the
you.
idea.
I'm
of
right
it.
there with you.
I don't chug. I take one shot.
Well,
You're drinking out of a decanter, dum dum.
Well, here's the thing. So nosing is like my favorite thing to do. So even when I've just got like a good old rocks glass, I like to take a little sniff and then a sip. So I can't really do that with a bottle. So I generally am very much against it. But for this occasion, I will. It's been a hot second since I had Ain't Half Bad. It did. I remember like a year ago, I did like a 5-way blind with Ain't Half Bad and like 4 other just store picks of Knob, and Ain't Half Bad won against like there was a Benny's pick, there was like a couple other Chicago, there was a Kentucky pick. It did win. So let's take a sip.
Dude, I'm getting nervous about it because I have 2 bottles left, and I started with like 12. Is it still drink hot?
I mean, so I'm about halfway.
So we did it.
That's crushable. That's got some. What I loved about that one, that reminded me, that's got and like those lighter notes that a lot of Knob Creek's really good with those heavy, like those nutty notes, those
earthy, nutty,
some
savor to it. Yeah.
Heavy vanilla, like dark caramel, like it's heavy. Yeah, that's deep, rich kind of thing. And so when you get one that has like those lighter, fruity or herbally notes, even if it's just a little bit, like it's really nice. And that one definitely has it. The one we picked, again, very crushable because there was this lighterness to it that you could just, I felt like pound on a summer day kind of thing. So I'm very excited when those come in, but
I'm 99% sure I hid my bottles from me.
Probably a good idea.
I have started a side stash where I have been putting things that I don't want to accidentally get into.
Right.
And a lot of those are picks like that mean a lot to us. Eric Smith wants to see Griez wrestle the mic again, and he did that when Swoggle was on. He literally started elbowing the mic, and then he took it down, and he comes up and still on his shoulder. It was a mess. That was when Swoggle was sleepy. So,
Sleepy Swoggle. I heard about that.
Yeah, that's his go-to. He drank an entire bottle of like raspberry absolute or something.
So it was like impromptu vodcast.
Yes, yeah, it very much was impromptu vodcast, which we need to do again because that was probably one of my favorite. Now that was like the perfect example of like wrestling culture and whiskey culture because that entire show was kayfabe.
Oh yeah,
Vodkask.
Yeah, so it's like if anyone wants to understand like what does kayfabe mean, it's like the vodcast was kayfabe.
Yeah.
Right.
So
100%.
The funny thing is that we have a corporate client that we do their corporate party every year, pretty much. It's basically like all of their affiliates, and they come together and we go and host it, and we do this tasting with like
big construction
30
firms.
pours. Yep. Yeah, big construction firm. Got like 30 pours out there, and we curate the tasting, and we literally just hang out for 3 hours and talk whiskey with them and talk them through the tasting and all this stuff. Well, one of the high ups, she doesn't do whiskey. She only does vodka, and she legit thought we were like serious. And she texted me emailed me like, hey, like, let me know about that vodka. Like, what was that vodka again? I really want to get it. If you've got any more that you've figured out, like, let me know. And I'm like, I don't. It's Wheatley vodka and Tito's.
That's
and
pretty much it.
I'll be honest with you, that Wheatley was way better than Tito's. So that's all
Does
I got
not
for you.
surprise
That's the
me.
only thing I could tell her.
That was MGP versus Buffalo Trace, though.
Mhm.
Yeah, they know how to age vodka over there.
No,
Buffalo
Tito's
Trace.
is legit MGP distillate.
It's not
That's
handcrafted
right.
in somebody's backyard in Austin, Texas. What?
No.
I got a few
I know.
potatoes upstairs just simmering right now. We'll see how that
Shocker.
comes out.
Grease. Have some potatoes.
What?
Oh, you're actually simmering it with your baking grease?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? You're putting it with your baking grease.
No, it's like potato vodka or whatever. You just pour a bunch of water in
I'm
a tub, and then you put a crap ton of potatoes in there.
You're
pre-baked.
fermenting your own potato vodka?
Sure. I didn't know that's
I'll let
what
you
it's
know
called.
something. His house smells like fermented potato vodka. Let's just he's
the
trying to do it
those
on his
stupid
own.
things. They start growing these arms and stuff, and I was like, "Daggone, Mr. Potato Head is legit real." Well, sorry.
This whole
Just potato.
background behind you, this closet full of whiskey, the Nook or whatever, it's all a sham.
It's a green screen. Yeah.
It's all a sham. You're working on your vodka empire. Just come clean, man.
Come clean about what?
You're
That I
working
love
on
vodka?
you're working on a vodka empire. Whiskey is just a sham to ride the momentum of the popularity of the market.
So
He has
slightly,
vodka faction that's about to start. The
Yeah.
VWO. VWO is coming.
slightly funny story. We go to this chicken finger restaurant
Slightly
near.
funny.
Yeah, we go to this chicken
Oh.
place near Will called, what's it called? Waldo's or something?
Yeah.
We go in there and
First of
Lauren's
all,
like, are you not?
First of all, let's say Waldo's is an anomaly, and Eric Smith knows because Eric Smith actually went to Waldo's.
Dude,
He was
it's
down here for it's like a walk-up chicken finger restaurant, like as you do, like walk-up service. You pay, they normal thing,
Right.
not fast food, but like quick service kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
But they have a bar.
But it's so fast.
Yeah, but like
It's
you can sit
insane
like a
fast.
liquor bar.
Yeah.
in
Yeah, you
this
can sit at a
walk-up.
bar.
Normally, there's not there. Maybe they have like beer. Like if you go to where am I
Cracker
thinking? Like
Barrel.
no, Chipotle or something. Like you
Sure.
can buy a beer. They have a beer license, but they don't have a liquor license
hey,
at a walk up.
Have you been to the Chipotles that have the Patron margaritas?
No.
Oh, that's a thing.
Well, that's Chicago. We live in Tennessee.
It's Chicago and wherever
Chipotle
will
had
allow.
margaritas, I would have 7 kids.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, they have like there's some cheap ass tequila or whatever, and then for I don't know how much the Patron margarita is, but it's $7-8 more or
It don't
something
matter,
like that.
dude. It don't matter. That's the. I'm not gonna say what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
So with your burrito bowl or whatever, yeah, you can get yourself a Patron margarita in some markets.
So
I'm
I go
moving
to
to those markets. That
So
sounds
I go to Waldo's,
perfect.
which, by the way, they have like this family feast for $25. It's a hidden menu item.
Hold up. By the way, I'm sorry. I have to cut you off real quick. We're talking about like food and stuff. Like you're talking about a chicken place. I just discovered, y'all, it'll be all right, Griez. You can come back. Come back. It's the old Ric Flair. No, come on. Woo! I just discovered Nashville hot chicken for the first time. There's a joint in Chicago that does their own version of it or whatever. So I don't know technically how authentic it is, but like hot damn. It's like because like I've had all kinds of fried chicken, but so like
They have a piece of white bread underneath, and it's soaked all the hot. Yep. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
and this season, it's like it's not wet and greasy. It's like this dry seasoning on top of the breading, and it's so freaking good.
Kind of like real peppery almost.
So
Yeah, and I'm a wuss. It's still mild for me, but like I'm inching my way up, and it's good though.
Prince's hot chicken, I still claim is the original. There's like a fight among town.
Hattie
like whether it's
Prince's.
no, Hattie B's is not the original. But like
I
whether
know, I'm just saying they claim it.
no, they don't.
I
Hattie
thought they
B's.
did.
No. Hattie B's came much later.
Oh.
But Prince's and Bolton's were like the
Those
two
the
that
egg?
claim the first, but I believe Prince's was. But when I went like early on when I first moved here, so 14 years ago at this point, went to get some Prince's hot chicken. And this was before there was a lot of places that had it. This was just like, you're going to North Nashville. It's in this strip mall. There's a line out the door. And we went in and I was debating between medium and mild. And I'm pretty sure I said that because there was like medium, mild, hot, and then like real hot or something. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is the original Prince's location. I said something like, I'm debating the medium and mild. And I'm pretty sure she said, oh, honey, you're getting the mild. And so I got it and went back. And I've never had a situation where I was eating it. And it may have, I would like to believe maybe it was medium, but it was probably mild. But like the back of my head was sweating and tingling as I'm eating it. And it was one of the most unique food experiences ever because I'm eating it. And it wasn't as much like inflamed here as much as it's like my body's having a nervous reaction to this. So,
yeah, I am a white man, as we saw earlier in the pose down showdown.
But you blushed a little bit, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like spicy food. Like I am an Irish family background kind of thing. Yeah. So like, spicy food was an anomaly to me and readily avoided as a young man and everything like that. And then I give full credit to my wife, who is of Mexican heritage, to introducing me to a lot of spicy food. And I mean, I am no pro. I am no pro yet, but like I can handle. Boys, I don't want to brag, but like I go to the grocery store.
You're darn right you do.
I'm getting medium salsa.
You darn right.
Oh. I'm
you're getting jalapeno peppers and you're throwing it in daggum Lucky Charms in the morning, aren't you, buddy?
He's getting Chi-Chi's, but he's getting the medium.
I'm getting the medium. You know what I mean? We're one step away
Oreos
from
double stuffed with daggum ghost peppers.
Whoa.
That literally sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard someone describe.
Yeah.
Oreos with ghost peppers. But
I would pass away.
Okay, well, sorry. I thought we were on.
They don't call them ghost peppers for nothing.
Thing here going. I thought we were just elevating things, and
then you took it one step too far.
That's not too far. I'll do that. Somebody bring me an Oreo with a daggum ghost pepper in the middle of it. Whiskey weekend. Film that. Actually, I don't want to go to the hospital. It's fine.
No, pretty sure that'd be good content.
That
if
would
we
be
just put the YouTube video.
If you can infuse the cream of the Oreo with ghost pepper, so it's a nice little red instead of white or something like that. I don't know. That would be fantastic.
I feel like Eric Smith.
I will pay for it.
Could do it. He could. Eric he's the real deal.
He knows how to do
Eric as well.
Stuff.
Yeah.
He knows how to do
Eric was on your channel as well, the Wrestling with Whiskey channel, and that was a super fun one.
Okay,
that's where we really nerded out because we started talking about anime and whiskey, like what's the Super Saiyan whiskey and everything. So that was fun.
Hell yeah! I still gotta get an anime. Greez, you watch anime?
he watches Animaniacs.
I mean, it's animated. It's not quite anime, but
no. Like some kid. Like I said something the other day, and literally he's like 13. I must have said something that triggered him because he immediately thought I was into it, and I was like, it was like, like thinking like the band like Taking Back Sunday was like an emotional emo band. You know what I mean? Like it was that out of touch of what it was.
Wait, is that not?
Like, are you talking about like Pokemon? Like I was like, are you talking about Pokemon? Because I mean,
I think you're describing Eric Smith's like his Instagram content because it's mostly emo and anime. So,
well,
New Metal Mondays, which are now
his Instagram account is basically making fun of his kids, and it's freaking great. All right, so here's the deal. I got to go back to Waldo's.
We're moved on.
No, and my wife says, "Are you not going to get a drink?" And I was like, "No, I own all of those whiskeys." And my daughter, without missing a beat, by the way, my daughter knows I mean, probably 90% of this collection.
She loves Four Roses.
Her favorite is Four Roses, but she knows the names, knows the bottles, like she can pick them out or whatever.
How
like,
old is she?
She's 6, but she's like, Dad, you have that one. And I was like,
it's on brand, isn't
Four
it?
Roses special edition and small batch.
Oh, we got a story about that.
Oh, dude, she'll tell you. I should bring
God.
her on with a drinking with one time. That'd be hilarious, but it's too late. But anyway, so she goes, you don't have that one. And it was a bottle of Grey Goose. And I was like, you're right.
It's true.
You're right.
Touche.
And then Lauren laughed and she was like, I don't know, like 2004. I used to have handles of Grey Goose.
You had to stock the bar party. Okay, this is a little bit of trivia that no one's ever heard before. Between
with the live firework that went off?
No, I'm talking about just that you and your wife got married.
Right.
And then you had like a stock the bar party at your house.
Well, no, that was before marriage, but sure.
I don't know. Anyhow, I brought you
you can and can't do certain things before and after marriage
in Tennessee.
Biblically.
I'm going to get to the whole thing, though, is that this is probably the most embarrassing podcast fact that's never been revealed.
What?
Is that for your Stock the Bar party, I brought you a bottle of Bombay Sapphire Gin.
Okay. Oh, it's embarrassing for you.
No, for us, for our relationship.
Yeah, because it's completely off brand.
It's cumulative.
Yeah.
Dude, I love juniper.
That's it, though.
Sorry, I thought that was the planet. Well, wait, this is an herb. I love juniper. Whatever it is.
You said
Jupiter,
it right the
juniper.
first time. See, that's where the character and the breakdown start, because he's like, man, I meant to say Jupiter, but then he corrected himself live and said, oh, I meant the planet Jupiter.
The only bottle of whiskey. There was two bottles of whiskey that I got early in marriage. One was a 1792 Ridgemont Reserve, which, man, I wish I still had that.
Mm-hmm.
Second was the old Willet pot still. You and Logan bought it for me on the way to it was my dessert party or whatever. Which,
was
by
that
the
your
way,
birthday?
Yes, you that don't. Let me just go ahead and just public service announcement this. Let me public service announcement this. Do not have we're drinking tonight, and instead of providing food, we're just doing it dessert party. So it's just sugar and liquor and beer. When I say
upstairs to take a nap.
No, when I say half the people got sick, there was 20 of us there. I'd probably say 8 to 10 people literally got sick and just hurled in my backyard.
I've not gotten sick, like vomitous sick.
You've gotten close.
No, I'm just saying many times in my life. One time was after that dessert party where we were driving home. My wife was driving us home.
She got sick that night too?
I had to get out of the car. Like, she pulled over so I could get sick, but it was on this slope going down an apartment complex, like ridge. And I rolled down a hill. She literally thought, I've lost him.
He's dead.
This is it.
We're done.
You've never told me this story, Will. It's so great.
I know. That's well, now I have,
dude.
Well,
I didn't know you got sick
log roll down a hill.
Yes, like I leaned over to get sick, and because I had way too much and only sugar on my stomach, I fell forward and just tumbled down a hill. And my wife was just like, "I'm not getting him back up here. This is it. This is the end."
Yeah, tiny Samantha.
Yeah, she's like
nothing. Yeah,
I'm leaving him here.
Our buddy Danny, literally, he took a nap for 2. Like, we thought they left, but no, he was in my bed for 2 hours.
Yeah, he went to Griez's bed to sleep.
And I think they were married at the time. Yes, they definitely were. Married. His wife Kelly or whatever was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, he can't get to the car. He finally got to the car, but
you're like, I actually need that room.
So cheesecake
now,
regular cake, cupcakes, pecan pie, like
all life lessons. These are life lessons.
Well, here's the thing. This is the This is the angle. This is the gimmick. This is the deal for Bourbon Fit.
Just a straight shoot.
Is no. That's mine. Don't try to steal that shit.
I didn't know what. No, it was your words. I'm just saying we're gonna shoot this straight right here.
You're damn right. But no, for Bourbon Fit, I'm giving you ideas now.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is, it can't just be exercise, right? Because everybody does exercise. Bourbon Fit's got to be different. So Bourbon Fit is you talk about your friend in your bed can't get to his car. Well, you know what? If you did Bourbon Fit, you hoist him up. You walk his ass down the stairs out to the car. If your Bourbon Fit
is for the wives.
Bourbon Fit is for the people who need
significant others.
Yeah, you're picking up your buddy off the floor, off the bathroom, out of the toilet, out of your friend's bed where they passed out of that dumpster behind, Chili's, whatever it is.
I just want to show people that you can bench 115 pounds and whiskey. That's all I wanted to. All I want to teach people.
Amen. What do you think? I'm 150. I can't even do 115 pounds anymore. Shoot, I have a torn left pectoral. I can't do that anymore.
So I do have this.
How
did you hear that?
So
wrestling.
Your wife DDT you one night.
Pro wrestling. No, don't ask me about what me and my wife do behind closed doors. Griez, this is a family show.
I didn't say it was closed doors.
You and Griez throughout the family
it was closed doors. Okay,
that's true.
I don't know what kind of content's on your Patreon page.
First of all, before we get to that,
pull the
Bourbon
peck
Baller,
level, $50 a month.
No, but first of all, before we get to that, Bourbon Baller just said, "Is this the guy from the Vaudevillains?"
Nah, dude. I don't even know who that is.
Not the same. I will say that one of my you and I were in the same room in Nashville at an NXT show at War Memorial Auditorium.
Ah, yes.
And the match with the Vaudevillains was unreal, like literally mind blowing. And so it was me, my buddy Logan, who Dylan was talking about from WWE Today, and his son. And we all three were so locked in to this match at War Memorial with the Vaudevillains, so much so that later when we started interacting from that through whiskey, that it wasn't as much like, I mean, I know your body of work very well, but it was so much like
he's basically saying he knows your body.
It was full circle.
We all know my body after earlier tonight.
It was really full circle for me that I'm like, never in my wildest dreams would I think that something that I went and had a blast and saw some of the best entertainment live I could have ever seen. And one of the best shows I've ever seen put on. And you really are an extreme talent, and see that. And then it's like, I can be friends with this guy through my hobby.
Right.
Never thought in a million years that would happen. So Bourbon Baller, thanks for bringing that up, because that that was a really cool touch point for me of us getting to know each other through our whiskey hobby. And
that's something, like, not to get like overly sentimental and everything, but like that's one of the things I love about like whiskey and this stuff. And maybe it's as weird as it sounds, I feel like it extends to kind of like culinary niches in general, because like there's so like we talked about earlier, there's so many niches, so many fandoms, so many like unique individual groups of like fans from different aspects of, especially like entertainment and everything like that. But where like, someone who's like a Trekkie would never be at a party with someone who's, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like crazy hardcore sports fan, like New York Giants fan kind of things. Those seem like kind of opposites.
Sure.
But things like whiskey and all, for the most part, many of us indulge in, we have alcoholic beverages, or whether it's food or something like that. There's these things that sometimes bring people together. Like, and I think that's what's so cool about whiskey is it expands in and of itself. It may not, like you said, it may not be as giant as some of these other ones, but like it reaches into a little bit of almost every single like niche, every single fandom, every single like little marketplace. And so it's like, you never, like, that's one thing I've found too. I'm like, you never know where, like, oh crap, you collect whiskey too? Or like, you like it more than just like a shot of Jack. Like, oh my God, like you like Buffalo Trace, you like all this stuff. It's kind of funny where you found whiskey fans. For me, that's one of the things I've discovered. It's amazing all the little communities that I've found, like dedicated whiskey fans in as well.
And see, for us who were starting in the whiskey community, what we have seen is kind of the opposite of like, I grew up watching wrestling and then had this like gap period and then came back. My buddy and I went to WrestleMania out in Phoenix. I forget which number it was, but we 26. Went back 26 as adults. We went and you just kind of like had this resurgence. And then quick, now we're seeing like all these people that were like from our whiskey community, people like Eric, people like our buddy Dustin, and all these people that when we'll make like casual references to something wrestling, something we grew up with and still enjoy, that will people like, oh, totally picked up on that. Love that you love that and keep going.
You don't mention Corey right now, he's going to get upset.
Oh, and our buddy Corey.
Thank you.
And so like it's all these touch points that it's the same experience you've had, but from the other side of the mirror, where we're looking at it and we're like, okay, well, we have not the wrestling chops per se, but we have the whiskey chops. And then when we get into this and seeing how many people, as soon as we make one slight off the cuff wrestling reference, people like heard when you said that, by the way. It's like people, you're like, well, why aren't we talking about this more? Right?
Yes.
Like we're on this. So
Matt, can you tell me what Corey means? Right. This is Corey, by the way. I'm glad.
Oh, hell yeah.
Can you dissect what this comment means?
So yeah, Matt hit the Rusev Day in the Superdome in NOLA for Mania, and that business was super over. So he's just talking about WrestleMania 34, New Orleans. I remember Rusev was it was when we were doing the whole Rusev Day thing. If you're a wrestling fan, you know what's up.
You were like you were tag teaming with him, right?
Rusev lives in Nashville, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he lives everywhere, Will.
He lives in the hearts and minds of fans
that monster,
everywhere.
Okay? He lives wherever the hell he wants to live.
But we were doing this thing that was totally not supposed to be a thing. Ended up being called Rusev Day. Is like a holiday. It ended up being a holiday you celebrate every single day, and it just took off.
Yeah, it was every day. Rusev Day was every day.
Yeah, it started off as this random ass promo that they had me part of when Rusev and Randy Orton were doing a thing, and for some reason people just started chanting it, and so we're like, all right, well, Rusev Day's a thing. Let's just pretend you can celebrate it every day. So one holiday you can celebrate every day of the year. And we actually ended up getting calendars printed that had Rusev Day inscribed on every single 365 times every day of the year. And what he's talking about.
And then there became Happy Aiden Day as well.
Yeah. To much less fanfare, which I had to fight tooth and nail to even get like an off-brand t-shirt made. But that's a different story for a different day. Or, you know what? It's a story for this day.
It's right now because it's Aiden Day.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's always Aiden Day to us.
Amen. And so yeah, Rusev Day got a shirt. Lana Day got a WWE shop shirt. And then when I suggested, I'm like, well, we're doing this thing. I'm like, if we're all part of this group, why don't I have one? And they go, well, I don't know, maybe, but well. And then so they put it through this like small time, what it was like. It was called like Customs. For basically WWE custom shirts. If you see it on the shop website, is basically like shirts where they're like, we don't want to promote it, and like we're not sure, but like because it's on demand printing as opposed to like bulk printing. Like
right, they have inventory, right.
Roman Reigns, puts out a shirt like we're putting that on shop because we're going to print 10,000 of them because we know they're all going to sell. But like this customs one is like, we're not sure. The idea is it's a tiny bit more expensive. So like we'll put it on there because we're paying for each individual one people order. So if people order 20, we're fine or whatever. So it's just, but we're not going to advertise it. It's a little bit lower key sort of thing. So yeah, that's just what happened there. But just calling back to what he was talking about was just, it was New Orleans was probably the hottest time we had. I mean, that was one of the coolest things we went to do. an appearance during WrestleMania 34 weekend on Bourbon Street, like middle of the afternoon too, like on a Thursday, right? Like, and we got in there on Wednesday. Thursday, we had like an appearance just for like some WWE.com like interview talking about WrestleMania or something. We were on the balcony of this thing. It's like 2 p.m. on a Thursday. The crowd is full. The street is full of people. You know what I mean? The street is crowded with people. And the minute we step on the balcony, they start looking up like, oh crap. And they just start chanting Rusev Day, all this. We couldn't even get through the interview without like cutting a promo on them, acknowledging them and everything like that. It was a very cool feeling. That whole weekend was like that. People, I got stories from people just say each night Bourbon Street was the hot place. But what a city to have WrestleMania in, by the way. There's a reason they did it 2 times within 4 years of each other,
right,
in the same damn city. It's such a good time. Dangerous, don't get me wrong. You got people there for 4, 5, 6 days.
Right,
Bourbon Street right around the corner. With 4 or 5 wrestling events, but it was such a cool. There was so much
all
energy.
Those offshoot events too.
Oh yeah, all the independent companies have events too, all around the WrestleMania time and everything.
So cool. I've been to 2 WrestleManias. I went to Phoenix and I went to Miami, and both are some of the most incredible spectacles you could ever go to. Because I mean, you go to like Griez is saying, like the peripheral events. You also go to like the Hall of Fame. You go to,
yep. Hall of Fame's the worst.
So we went to the Hall of Fame in Phoenix, and it was the longest thing I've ever sat through in my life. So
I will tell you this. So that's kind of a fun inside story. Is like, so you kind of hit the nail on the head there. So Hall of Fame, it's a super cool event. And like I remember the first time I got, like, I was, because you're scheduled, there's access, there's all kinds of events going on WrestleMania weekend. And so sometimes there is access, which is the fan kind of interactive event going on during Hall of Fame usually. Like it's a lower tier, like I'm trying to think of what the word is. Like it's usually a lower attended session of the event.
Sure.
But it is going on. But I remember I think my first or second year on the main roster, I got invited to the Hall of Fame. And as someone who likes the history of wrestling, I was like, oh, cool. And then you sit through it. And even like on television, it's long, but like when you're there in person and from a fan and then from us too, because we got to get ready. We all got to be in suits. We all got to be in ties. The women got to be either in dresses, they're all in ball gowns and everything. And then we have to like meet in the green room, and then we have to get on a bus, and then we have to get there. So we're like in suit and tie 2 hours before the event. And then we got to go, you got to wait. And the one year there was a bar in the holding area though. Which
that's nice.
Pretty fantastic. Like, it was, I think it was a cash bar.
Pre-show?
Like pre-Hall of Fame. The bar was open.
Necessary.
I thought it was pre-WrestleMania. You were like,
oh God, no.
Dude, we're pounding Maker's Mark and Cokes.
No. Before WrestleMania, bad idea. Before Hall of Fame, essential idea. Nice. Yeah, there's all those. It is very cool. But
so
like,
when we went to Hall of Fame in Phoenix, it was a little theater. Like it wasn't obviously in the big arena. It was a little theater, and there were moments of it. I'm like, I'll never forget this. Like the people that get up and give a quick speech, like a touching moment, a good montage video, because the production value is there. But then there's also, it's the opposite of the Oscars, where they're never playing anyone off for nothing. So I think it was like Steamboat was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it went on for like 45 minutes and just kept going. And it's like, yep, we're here. We're just going to hang out for this. And so that was it's the blessing and the curse of it. Great media production, great media value, and some really cool speeches.
Yes. And
then some places you're just like, can I be on my phone? Like, is this cool?
So you could. So here's the thing: they have cameras roaming around like the superstars in me, so you never know when they're going to cut to a shot. Usually, it was Roman Reigns, it was Becky Lynch, it was Seth Rollins, something like that. But you never know. Sometimes they cut to to us in the middle of the pack, kind of thing. And so we couldn't be on our phone. We never knew when we were going to be on camera. And yeah, man, the one, I think I went to 2, but I remember the one, New Orleans, I think was Mike Tyson. And holy crap, that speech was like, to me, I guess it was entertaining, but it was rambling. I don't think Mike knew exactly what he wanted to say. And everyone knows he's a fascinating character in the zeitgeist and entertainment in general. And he gives a lot of interesting interviews. And so extrapolate that over about 10, 15 minutes. And then Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who I love, super nice guy. Super, so kind, so fun when you're like hanging out in the back. Super great guy. But just like you said, oh my God, I wish I should have had a flask in my pocket, is what I'm saying. I should have had a flask in my pocket. He went on for like 30, 40 minutes talking about like stories. And I love a good story, but hot damn, we don't need to know about the time you fixed a tire when you were 8 on the side of the road in Alabama and everything like that. It's like, we got 8 other people to get through after you.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where you're like, I mean, I've got the program. Like, how much is left?
And you feel bad because like here these guys, this is the idea, Hall of Fame culmination of the career. Right. So you want to let them do. And luckily, like WWE Network and USA got like an edited version. But if you were there in person, you saw how long it was.
Yeah, and the flip side of it is that it is important, like especially people that love like kind of the history and love like these people that are some of the greatest performers, right? Like the fact that they are some of the greatest performers and have built up like what everyone has. Griez hates when I say the word history. He thinks that's something he can facepalm, but whatever. But like he
loves history and science.
It is cool from that aspect, but also at the same time, it is also great to see the edited version because it's condensed. But
because it's condensed.
Yes, but very much. Matt, thank you for joining us. Griez, I've been seeing pounding a lot, so I like to gauge when I need to cut the light.
No, I mean my camera picks up on eyeballs and it's having a hard time focusing.
It's going in and out of focus. Yeah,
because my eyelids are falling to my neck of cheekbones
from the whiskeys. But thank you so much
for
joining us.
Bad.
Plug all the wrestling with whiskey and everything and the straight shooting. Tell us everywhere, your Twitch, everywhere where we can find more of you.
I thought you just misspoke on Twitter, but no,
I'm that too. All kinds of stuff.
Dude, you play, I want to play video games. That would be awesome.
Do it. Let's do it.
I mean,
I play video games, but I get made fun of when I start talking about them.
I played Red Dead like 3 years ago. That was the last thing I played.
Griez, you play Fall Guys? You ever played Fall Guys? I feel like you would.
Fall Guys?
You could make incredible content playing Fall Guys.
So here's the deal. You just tell me what I need to do in order to connect with you. And let me go ahead and tell you something. I will have conversation and then we'll play something. And let me go ahead and tell you something. People will get pissed at how I play, but hopefully they'll just be like, dude, this is a bombshell.
And that doesn't matter. That's the fun thing is it doesn't matter. It's about you. It's about the personality. Let me think on that. Let me ruminate a little bit on that one. That could be some good stuff.
Whatever you need me to do, I don't care. I'm an open book.
Hell yeah.
You're an open history book, Griez.
Yes,
I'm
the
not.
history.
The only history I know is my dental or my medical history. Are you on any medication? Nexium.
Right.
And Tums.
Is that the cult? Is that the cult? Are you in the cult?
No, Griez is clearly in the cult. He loves
Nexium? Dude, there is a cult Nexium.
Griez has the brand
about that.
Right above.
Dude, that was like beginning of the shutdown.
Did you get branded?
That's a heck of a good series, by the way.
People
wild, right?
There's a brand associated.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing.
That's on. When Griez says that's on brand, he means something different than we do.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
No, touche.
Yeah.
Well, you said is it branded?
What
Podcast.com. Patreon.com/the podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Wrestlingwithwhiskey.com. Patreon.com/wrestling with whiskey.
I used to have
Twitch.com
wrestling.
/wrestling with the video games.
I want him to pitch it, not you, dum dum.
I want to start a new account, just twitter.com/wrestling with the video games.
Oh, right. Yeah. Where Matt beats the hell out of Donkey Kong Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's just freaking.
Absolutely.
We're going to DDT some daggum RC Pro-Am. Shit.
Greez, you're more like Diddy Kong.
Ooh, nothing wrong with Diddy. Hey, real quick, there's nothing wrong
I
with
thought
Diddy
you were
Kong.
talking about P. Diddy.
No,
Diddy Kong.
It was a fine game.
Diddy Kong has his strengths too.
He was faster.
Donkey can't
He
do
could the little
everything.
flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, anyway, thank you. No, thank you guys for having me on, everything, all that stuff. Oh God, you want to see us play Call of Duty? Oh my God,
I feel like I cuss too much. I feel like
I hate Call of Duty. Cussing is okay. Cussing's fine. Just call it. I hate Call of Duty.
Well, but my wife will text me if she hears me like screaming. She's already texted me about I dropped the S bomb earlier, and she's.
I
already
did too. I know.
You did. It's fine.
Blue. We're a couple of blue
We're gonna have to put
chatters.
this is a red band episode.
Yep.
We're drinking with.
I mean, between the shirts off and the
We had
S-bomb.
nudity. We talked about butts.
There were nipples. There were nipples on this show.
Definitely
Fine
nipples.
with it
Somebody
all.
accused me of having an EKG or something. I don't even know what that means. That sounds like a sex position, but it's not. It's these headphones.
You've had an EKG before. Let's be honest.
I have.
Yeah. Check your heart. You had 8 centimeters.
That's a John Chris thing.
I had a couple
Huh?
EKGs.
Yeah.
That's
Nothing
a John
wrong with
Chris thing. Do you not know who John Christ is?
I know what an EKG is, dum dum.
Well, you just said check your heart. That's what he says.
Okay.
It's basically like this, like
Matt.
what?
Where were we? Where were we again?
I don't
We're
know.
doing some plugs.
What's your Twitter handle? Is what he said.
That's right. All that. I was about to drop the S-bomb again. All that stuff. All Wrestling with Whiskey is pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all under Wrestling with Whiskey. Patreon.com/Wrestling with Whiskey has a little bit of extra content. It's also the Barrel Club where we pick things like this lovely new riff.
So
and others.
Jason and Eric are also members. So
Yes, absolutely.
podcast endorsed.
Ian Campbell knows about
Absolutely.
check your heart.
100%. Always check your heart. But then also Drama King Matt on the same Instagram, Twitter, and that's where I do my Twitch through. Twitch.tv/Drama King Matt. All over the place. But so basically, Wrestling with Whiskey, Drama King Matt, those are the two places across all social media you will find me.
Well, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. And I mean, we could talk for hours, so I'm sure we'll have you back on again. But make sure you all check out the Straight Shooting episodes because they're super fun. I love the wrestling and whiskey crossover. And it's always fun to watch newbies drink whiskey that don't really know what they're getting into. So it's a
I've
fun
been drinking whiskey
thing.
for years.
Yeah, it's boring now. Nobody cares about you, Griez.
Right.
We want
So
to see new people.
Let's watch new people like our buddy Dylan Postel, who was on one of our Drinking With episodes. So everyone check it out at the YouTube channel Wrestling with Whiskey and follow him everywhere else. And thank you so much. That's it for another Drinking With.
Hell yeah, guys. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, buddy. DDT this mother. Let's